And Benjamin's second question was, can you explain sanctification versus unrepentance?
Sure. From the outside, it can be almost impossible sometimes to tell. How many people knew that Judas was an unrepentant apostate? So we can do things in an outward way for various different reasons, and we should try not to go, that person's saved and that person's lost. But I know I know personally that that's not what he's getting at. But what's the difference? One will produce fruit. One will, the person who's truly been regenerated will grow, there will be a struggle. The end of Romans chapter 7 talks about this struggle within the saved believer. And there's kind of the old man and the new man. The fact that you're struggling, if there's somebody, a new believer out there, the fact that you're struggling is a good sign that you're saved. Not that you're, I have so much sin in my life. The thing about it is, the unrepentant sinner won't see the sin in their life. Hebrews chapter 12, verses 5 to 8 talks about that the Father, if whom he loves, he will chasten. So when you sin, do you feel horrible? And not because you've been caught by somebody, or not because you don't feel religious or important enough, but because you've disappointed your Father in heaven. There's a massive difference. You're not as worried about the penalty of the judgment, but how to put, you're brokenhearted that you have disappointed your Father. I mean, like if you're raising your children, you can't just raise them with a rod. You've got to show them love. You've got to show them. And then when they disappoint you, it's sometimes worse for the child than, say, being, physically disciplined or anything like that. It's much worse saying, "Oh, Daddy, I've disappointed you." And there's that kind of fatherly love. And assurance is something you grow in. You have to make your calling and election sure, Peter tells us. We're supposed to examine ourselves. Paul says to the Corinthians, to see if we be in the faith. It's not this kind of, well, you've made your decision and never doubt it again. I think I'll scream if I ever hear that again. But, it's you grow in assurance. I have seen people apostatize in ways that has broken my heart. Even in the short time, last 7 years I've been saved, people have later on denied the Trinity, or people have gone back into the New Age in a more ferocious way and looked on the outside like they were wonderfully born again. The thing is, will they persevere until the end? That person shall be saved. Not because they persevere until the end, but this is what a saved Christian looks like. And we also have to realize that sometimes people will be in the visible church right until the end and may never be truly born again. That's why I love the way the Westminster Confession of Faith, getting my plug out there, Westminster Confession of Faith puts it, the church is of a mixed nature. There's going to be unbelievers, there's going to be tares among the wheat. There's going to be, I think that takes the pressure off that we have to have everybody is saved, but everybody in the visible church must have a credible profession of faith. But it's, and that's, a true believer will love God. And if you love God, you will loathe yourself over your sin. But you will have joy in the Lord. And other things won't be as interesting to you, and you'll grow in that. And people have that to varying degrees. The unrepentant person, though, who's being religious, I think it's a bit more obvious if a person just rejects it and leaves the fold completely. But if they're unrepentant, they will do things not because they love God, but because they want to be liked by people around them. Be very careful of that you're not doing it to be, to be seen as great before men, to be religious before men.